But yeah, he is, but his real goal, like his true self, what he's really going after is balance, which is that Libra 12th house. And, he's. Those are the two biggest points I want to make about it, but, just not even really thinking about it, just like, I guess some observations, like, he's all about going after those, like, infinity gems, like, which is very Taurus 7th housey, like, the only person he's ever loved is, Gamora, and she's the most, like, Taurian person in the whole movie. So, yeah. And I'm referring to Infinity Wars when I say the whole movie. He's just... It's funny because, like, not a lot of people are aware of, like, what a Scorpio Rising, like, looks like, but if you do, then it's just, like, the most generic, like, most obvious, which, yeah, Scorpio Risings are super cool and everything. It's just, like, I don't know. It's like I want to complain, but I don't want to complain because it gave me the opportunity to be able to, showcase exactly, what one looks like. Pretty much, like, he's, like, so characteristic of it that I would place him above most other examples I've ever seen for a rising sign. He's a very good example of Scorpio rising. Now, another one would be for an Aries rising, Goku. Goku is such an Aries rising, like, it's just, he's got... Aries risings have protagonist power, okay? Like the actual, the god that, Christians refer to, I want to say, like, pretty much, well, I'm not going to say all religions, but, like, the Asar, anytime there's, like, a god that exemplifies, like, the beginning and the end simultaneously, or, Asar, like, in, like, Egyptian philosophy, that's... I mean, it can get confused with Asar because... adding that into it, because you could be, like, the Asar where you're like Jesus, where you look like you exemplify those characteristics of, like, being able to connect with everything and, like, being a more, like, a Pisces rising. And the concept of Asar is kind of, like, pretty linked with Pisces, I believe. I mean, everything is, but I mean, like, pretty directly. Where God, like I explained before, it's like your rising sign is what you have come off as or appear to be when you're going after the 12th house goal. So, and in terms of Goku, he's got protagonist power. He, like, whenever, it's what he can do is completely just up to the writer's imagination. Like, if the writer pictures something, Goku can do it. Like, if and then the only thing that keeps him from doing it immediately is the build-up of, like, the storyline and, like, everything that happened before. Which is still very super, like, Pisces and doing things in the right thing at the right time and all that, so, but it looks Aries-like in the world when you present it, because if you're always in tune with what's supposed to be happening at a certain point in time, then you're going to be acting on your immediate impulse. So you're going to look really impulsive. And it might look like, it's spur of the moment, or it's like, there's no forethought, but, and then maybe there's not, like, for you personally, but it really has all the backing in the universe behind it, because it's purely relying on the impulse that's created by how everything came together for you to have the drive to take that action at that time. So, and then that's kind of like how God works. Like, that's why it's so hard to explain, because it's just like, when you put it all together, that's what it is. And then it's really that simple. But it's not simple, because it's like, it's everything else. Because you gotta put the Virgo aspect of it, which is Pisces' other half, the everything in the details, so, like, but just in and of its, and then the whole, the Aries Rising is just the template for, okay, that was the first thing, and then everything kind of shifted off of that. Because, like, if, of course, if you look at a natal chart, the Aries Rising is the chart where everything's in its original house and everything. And then also there's, Aries is the most childlike, because it's the first sign, so, like, you're closest to God, children are the closest to God. And, Goku remains the most childlike. Like, because he doesn't ever lose the sense of wonder, the imagination, or, all these other things that people use to describe the undescribable that's describable, that isn't describable because it keeps moving forward. Like, and it's kind of convoluted and confusing, because you're literally talking about all of reality at the same time. Like, so, every contradiction, every thing that doesn't contradict, like, you're trying to say all of it at the same time. So it's like, all of it. So, and also another Aries rising. And not every protagonist is in Aries rising. I also want to make that clear. I'm saying, like, even if another character is a protagonist, if there's an Aries rising, then they're going to have that sense of, like, protagonist power pretty much every time. Like, if they lose, like, they pretty much, like, never actually lose. Like, and if they do, it's like, just because, like, they didn't believe enough or something like that, like, or, they end up getting brought back or something. So, but, or or really how it is, energy can't be, created or destroyed. So if they die, then it's just whatever energy was comprising them goes into something else. And it's more exemplified, more direct with an Aries rising person, because like they're so, just following the energy itself. So yeah. Uh Um, I guess I'd also want to. I feel like I didn't go into like the Scorpio rising enough. So some other things. The okay, there. I mean, it's just Thanos just has such an obvious like Pluto Mars combination. Like it's, you know, um, or just it's so obvious that that's how he comes off as being wanting to control things, wanting to strike this fear in people to control them, or being aware of, but when it's really, or that's how he comes off when it's really that is happening, but it's more because he's aware, or with the Scorpio rising in general, they're aware of where someone is off balance. Like they see like what it is in them that needs to transform or change anyway, and they're just like surrounded by that all the time. And then it's easy for them to, especially since they have like the Aquarius fourth house, they're trying to move towards being able to be detached and like just be able to observe, like he is just trying to see what it looks like and experience it when it's all balanced. And that's how he's trying to be like taken care of, is when he can actually be detached. But it's like Scorpio risings don't get to be detached a lot because they're always having to deal with those hard like things. That's why like you hear him say, I've sacrificed too. You have no idea what I've had to go through. He's not being, when he's saying that, like, it's not an empty statement like it might come off when he says that. It, like when you're watching, you might be like, oh yeah, you've sacrificed a whole lot. You're destroying planets and murdering people, but like, really, at one point spoilers, at one point he legitimately does just like throw, the only person he loves, down, into a pit. Like, so, because he's aware that that is just, that's the, equivalent exchange or whatever, like, kind of, that moment has kind of that, like, Full Metal Alchemist quality to it, too, of, like, which I feel like is also kind of related to Scorpio Rising. Like, in order to, obtain something, you have to give up something of equal value before you can get it, or, that's at least, how it works. Ultimately that's how it works. Like, in the moment, it might not seem that you have to do that, but, like, it's like in the long term, like, when it's really, if you look at how things are connected to everything. When you made that decision, it might be something that looks like you just cashed in real quick, but really by getting that thing, you lost something. So, yeah. want to get those out there. Oh, I'll probably go talking into like each of the rising signs individually more, but like in other videos. But another thing is like Bruce Lee, I feel like is probably an Aries rising. Um, uh, mm, just a lot of things where the main character is kind of really childlike. I'm not positive about these, but the things that are coming to mind are like Pitt from Kid Icarus, or like it's coming to mind because I just watched it on Death Battle. And then maybe Sora, not sure. Maybe maybe Naruto or something. Just someone where, or maybe Ash Ketchum. Somewhere it's like it's all just this drive, and we'll just be able to make it on belief and our imagination. If you can imagine it, then it can happen. That type of thing. So someone that really obviously exemplifies that in their actions and what they choose to do, and their own like confidence or faith in themselves. Like not just saying it, but like it's just very evident that that's how they actually are. So yeah, I feel like that covers it. I will move on to the next ones now.